Our Good Friday service, April 15th at 7:30 p.m. will be in our sanctuary. Guest speaker, the prolific Bishop T.D. Jakes, along with the legendary John P. King. But that's not all, saints, because then on Resurrection Sunday, the sanctuary comes alive. Our very own Dr. Jamal Bryant brings a powerful word with special guest LaShawn Mitchell. Nobody greater. Nobody greater. It's time to come back to church. Hey family, visit wearenewbirth.org for volunteer opportunities. We need full ministry support to welcome our family back.
To God be the glory for the great things he's already done, for the things that he's about to do, and even for what he's doing right now. We're appreciative that over the last 2 years, 800,000 people have died of COVID, but God has kept us alive. And so outside of all of the tangible and material things, would you just pause and give God thanksgiving for the gift of life? He came that we might have it and have it more abundantly. We're appreciative for the life and for the vitality of our leader, Reverend Al Sharpton. It was an amazing gift to this generation, an amazing gift to our community, and an amazing gift to the nation at large. He made civil rights go hip-hop. While civil rights leaders were wearing black three-piece suits, Reverend Sharpton came out in an Adidas tracksuit and a gold medallion, and he let a whole nother generation know that it was attainable. And so I'm thankful for him. To our honorable chairman, Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, who is a class act all by himself. Let's give God praise for his leadership, his tenacity, and even for his conviction. Appreciative for Jennifer Jones Austin, who is holding up the bloodstained banner for the next generation. Our fathers went to seminary together, so for us to come in this hour is a full circle moment. I want to pause and take a point of personal privilege just to underscore my gratitude and flapping accolades to all of our honorees for today. Reverend A.R. Bernard, who is an unmistakable light for this city and even for this nation. Come on, let's give God praise for him. Biasly to my godmother, Reverend Dr. Elaine Flake, the esteemed pastor of the Greater Allen Cathedral in Queens, New York. Man, Dr. Richardson, I've been AME my whole life, and I never got invited to speak at NAN until I became Baptist. And so now that I'm Baptist, they thought I was worthy to come speak after all of these years. But my bishop is here with me, and he is being honored, Bishop Reginald Jackson. I'm thankful for him, for how it is that he leads unwaveringly the state of Georgia. And then to my best friend in the planet Earth, Bishop Rudolph Waldo McKissick Jr. from Jacksonville, Florida, who is also a board member but is being honored. I'm appreciative for him and appreciative for all of you who are present. It is always a precarious predicament to have to preach over food. There's a reason that Jesus didn't break the 2 fish and 5 loaves till after he finished speaking. And so I'm going to do the best that I can. Those of you who have a Bible app on your phone, I want to invite you to open up the Old Testament book of Judges, chapter 4. Judges chapter 4, verse number 9. It reads on this wise in the New International Version. Certainly I'll go with you, said Deborah, but because of the course you are taking, the honor will not be yours. for the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. I want to share for a little while today, using as a subject, the secret is out. The secret is out. Would you just tell the people who are sitting at your table, the secret is out? Dr. Aubrey, the Ringling Brothers and Barnum Circus has filed bankruptcy. The Soul Circus is on sabbatical since the pandemic. Cirque du Soleil has anchored residency in Las Vegas. But the greatest show to walk the tightrope between the insanity and the incredulous was seen on Capitol Hill last week. At the hearing of the newly confirmed Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, she was assaulted with questions that were below the pale of reason, such as, do you support terrorism? She was asked, are babies born racist? But the creme de la creme of crazy was posed by Senator Marsha Blackburn, who 5 million years after Eve was asked, what is a woman? When she herself, Senator Blackburn, identifies as one. You can't ever let people question who you are when they don't know who they are. Astutely, Judge Jackson, who was still a nominee, refused to answer as she knew it was a setup by the other side to launch a Ukrainian invasion on the LGBTQ community, which didn't relate to the context by which she was invited. The Huffington Post decided to take on the Herculean task and ask members of the Senate to define what a woman is. Senator Mike Lee from Utah, in his best middle school interpretation, said that a woman is an adult female of the human species. Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina said a woman is somebody who is biologically a woman. Senator Ted Cruz from the last copy of Encyclopedia Britannica said a woman is a Homo sapien with 2 X chromosomes. And Senator Tom Tillis, the brazen evangelical, said, I have a more traditional view of what a woman is. Senator Tillis said, a woman is like my wife. Truth be told, he meant he sees women who happen to look like his wife. As long as they are white, he can see them as a woman. Black women have never been seen as women. They have just been seen as breasts, as behinds. But how else could they assuage the decibel left of consciousness after they raped them? It is appropriate then why they would label them in the Constitution as 3/5 of a human being. Did they think that Breonna was a woman when they went into her house without a warrant and killed her in her own bed? Did they think Sandra Bland was a woman when they detained and murdered her just for making a U-turn? And while it is that I was watching that Senate hearing, I couldn't help but remember the confirmation hearing for Sojourner Truth, the conductor of the Underground Railroad, to which she testified. That man over there says a woman needs to be helped in the carriages, lifted over ditches, and have the best place everywhere. Nobody ever helped me into a carriage or over mud puddles or given me the best place. And ain't I a woman? She further live on C-SPAN in 1851 said, and ain't I a woman, that little man in black there says a woman can't have as much rights as a man because Christ wasn't a woman. And Sojourner said, where does your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with him. If the first woman could make society go upside down, then all women can make society turn right side up. James Cone, who shares my AME ancestry and is the father of black liberation theology, thought out loud a few blocks from here. And then one day, some young sisters who were his students confronted Dr. Cone and inquired, when will you take on the next dimension of liberation? Which in truth, that the way that white America treats black men is the same way the black church handles black women. When will we be liberated? We like for black women to sing in the choir, but we don't want them to preach from the pulpit. We don't have a problem with black women frying chicken, but we don't want them on the finance committee. We don't have any problem with women being liturgical dancers, but we will not ordain them deacons. And before you get too comfortable, check yourself. Are you only inviting women for Women's Day, but not for the fall revival? The question that begs to be answered is, when did misogyny become a ministry? We keep throwing blankets. We keep throwing blankets over people slain at the altar, not because it's spiritual, but because the men in charge have been sexualized. Muslims ask women to walk behind them, but black preachers keep asking black women, let us step over them. Dr. Jacqueline Grant, in her changing book, White Women's Christ and Black Women's Jesus, unpacks the tension between feminism and womanism. Senator Blackburn's experience as a woman is altogether different than Justice Johnson's. A black woman, in the modified words of Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, you have to always run faster or forever be left behind. And black women in this nation have learned how to do track and field while having weights on their ankles. There's never a chance or a possibility that a white woman could have ever written the poem And Still I Rise, because it is a sign of defiance in spite of the societal low expectations that you can write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies, but still like dust I'll rise. In American history, as it will recall, that it took 232 years. And after 232 years, we've had 108 white men on the Supreme Court, 4 white women, 2 black men, 1 Hispanic woman, and in just 24 hours, finally a black woman. But outside of that patriarchal record, I found and dusted off for your hearing today another book of Judges. And in that second book of Judges, I ask that you will find your way to the 4th chapter. And in the 4th chapter of Judges, some interesting things are uncovered that arrest our attention. In verse number 1, the Israelites did evil in the sight of the Lord. The ambiguity of the author leaves us in a tailspin because we still don't know what that evil was that was displeasing to the Lord. Maybe, comrades, it was that they refused to discuss reparations. Maybe the evil that the Lord saw was that they reneged on the cancellation of student loan debt. Maybe the evil that God saw was police officers killing people and still not being charged with murder. Maybe the evil that God was witnessing was the aiding of the Ukrainians but doing nothing for veterans and black farmers. Maybe the evil that God saw was them pretending as if January 6th never took place. Maybe the evil that God was witnessing, that it was illegal now to give people water just for standing in line to be able to vote. Maybe the evil was the dismissing of those districts in which African Americans were heavily populated. Maybe it was the evil of them getting the tax credit for taking the numbers of those who were on the rolls of prisons but refusing to allow them to vote after they served their time. I have no idea what that evil was that God saw, but he was displeased. And still in the book of Judges, something critical happens, is that the children of God finally begin to cry for help. They begin to cry for help because they realize that they needed a higher authority than the caucus. They cried for help because they realized that their fraternity and sorority, their boule, their links could not rescue them. Their professional affiliations was not going to shift it. They cried for help. I remember Sister Hazel Dukes many years ago, it was probably in 2000, I was at the NAACP convention. While at the NAACP convention at the time, our president and CEO was the Honorable Kwesi Mfome. He had contracted laryngitis and asked me to give the address that night, and I was only 27 years of age. At 27 years of age, I gave the NAACP keynote address in Charlotte, North Carolina, and thought what I believed humbly was one of the most critical moments of my life. I came off of the stage. When I came off of the stage, meeting me was late public critic Dick Gregory. And Dick Gregory grabbed me by my collar, threw me up against the wall. I'd never met him, had only known who he was from albums my parents had in the basement. He grabbed me by my collar and said, "Young man, you are out of order." I was trying to go through my speech. What did I say that maybe was problematic? What was hypocritical? He said, "You are out of order." And I said, "Mr. Gregory, why am I out of order?" He said, "Because you belong in the church." I said, "What do you mean, Mr. Gregory?" He says, "In my generation, when black people were in trouble, they called on Jesus and the NAACP." He said, "You are part of a generation that doesn't call on either. And if you lose what your responsibility is, you're going to miss an entire generation that does not know who Jesus is." I tell people all over the country, my call to pastorate didn't come from T.D. Jakes. It did not come from Bishop Charles Blake. It came from Dick Gregory, who never even came to church. But the day that I opened up my church, Dick Gregory came into my first service, sat on the front row. When I finished preaching, he grabbed the mic and said, "Now this is the kind of nigga I can listen to." Those of you who know Dick Gregory know I'm telling the truth. The Lord heard their cry because they knew how to call on him. The Bible further shares with us in that fourth chapter. I'm now in verse number 4. Here's what it says in the King James Version as translated by Black William Shakespeare in 1611. Now Deborah, a prophet, the wife of Lapideth. I need you to notice this, Dr. Flake, is she's a prophet first and then a wife. I think y'all missed it. Now Deborah, a prophet, the wife of Lapideth. She's a prophet first, then she is a wife. In this colonized Christianity that we now practice, we have made the inversion of that thought, believing that who you are does not start until you have Mrs. in front of your name. Deborah understood her identity was not in matrimony. Her being was not in having babies. Her gift was in her mind and in her administration. The reason why they can't handle Justice Jackson is because that sister can think. And there is nothing more dangerous than a black woman who is able to think. It's fine to be well dressed. It's fine to be cute. It's time to have nice clothes on. But if you find a black woman that's got her mind on straight, she will turn the world upside down. There are no silly women in this room, but I need the bold, brilliant black women who know where their minds are. Would you just give God glory that you can think in spite of what you have been placed in? With all that was taking place, she sent for the commander. The commander's name happened to be Barak. When she called Barak in, she gave him a strategy, because I need to tell you this right here in Judges chapter 4. She said, Barak, you good, but you can't save our people. Barak, you've done a lot symbolically, but the next step of what is needed and necessary is going to come from a woman. I can tell y'all a real big man right through here. But she said to him, I am giving you the strategy. And Barak had enough sense to say to her in verse number 8, I'm going to go if you go. I'm going to do it if you do it with me. Because they had the understanding that our community can never accomplish anything divided. If we can just get black brothers to walk with black sisters, we'll be able to shift to everything that we know. There is no other community in the world, not a German woman, not a Japanese woman, not a Norway woman that would ever say, I don't need a man. Something is wrong with us that we don't even know how to elevate ourselves and push ourselves to the next level. We got enough hateration on the outside that we cannot contend with fighting each other. Can I just pause for the cause? Every black man, would you just cheer for the black woman at your table? Every sister, would you just give God glory for the black men who are at your table? Why? Because we are better together. It says we can't go unless we go together. And watch what Deborah says. Deborah says, I'll go with you, but because of the course that you are on, the honor will not be yours. The victory that our community is going to happen in this next season, not from men, but the leadership that is needed in this hour, I hope at least the sisters will back me up, will happen because this is the decade of the woman. And brothers, if you got any good sense, You ought to make sure that you know how to let women lead. And the way you let women lead is, Negro, get out the way and let her do what it is that she knows she is called, ordained, and appointed to do. My mother, Dr. Cecilia Williams Bryant, said to me years ago that behind every successful man is a tired woman, because a tired woman had to push that man to get to where he is. A brilliant man, can I give it to you this way? A brilliant man is nothing more than an average woman. Because an average woman can do excellent things if you would just let her lead with all that the gifts and the graces that God has given her. She says, this is what Deb says to Barack says, the victory is going to come, but it's going to come at the hands of a woman. But here is the rub. I don't think too many of y'all are going to shout over this. The rub is that the victory she's talking about is not from Deborah herself. She's talking about another super bad sister by the name of Jael. I got to say this to women in ministry and women in leadership. Don't get so comfortable being first that you forget to bring the younger sisters up behind you. This is not a secret society or sorority. Move, get out the way. You done had your season. Now let the younger generation come forth. She may not do it like you, may not dress like you, may have tattoos and gold teeth, and may have piercings, but she's still gonna shift a generation because of the call that's on her life. She said that this victory is going to come, but it's going to come at the hands of a woman. We had a luncheon. Would y'all be seated? Church was last night. There it is. So it's going to happen, but it's going to happen at the hand of another woman. I got to pause for station identification. Sisters, would you please just celebrate another sister? Would you do that for me, please? Just celebrate another. Y'all hear how anemic that is? Come on. I said cheer for another sister. Affirm another sister. Says it's going to happen, but it's going to happen at the hands of another woman. The battle will be fought. The battle will be won, but it's going to happen at the hands of a woman. And my dear friends, I think I ought to tell you that there was another battle, and this one was not in D.C., and it was not in Cicero, but I'm a week ahead of schedule to tell you that it happened in Calvary. Bishop Jackson, 3 years ago, I wouldn't have closed this way, but because I'm Baptist, I now got to close at the cross. That they hung him high. They stretched him wide. He hung his head, and then he died. But that's not how the story ends. 3 days later, he got up with all power in his hand. And you ask me how I know? A woman told it. It was a woman that gave the gospel. He's not here. He is risen from the dead, and he is Lord. If anybody ought to be preaching on Easter, it ought to be a woman. Let the women preach what it is that God has given them. You may be seated. You may be seated. I got 2 minutes and lunch is served. I told you at the preamble of this preachment, that my title was "The Secret Is Out." And I neglected to tell you that I was raised in the 80s. And because I was raised in the 80s, Bishop McKissick, I used to be bombarded with a commercial that they don't air anymore. The commercial tagline was this: strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. And the product was called Secret. Strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. I think y'all are the slow class. Here I am. It's strong enough for a man, but it's made for a woman. I got to close. The Supreme Court was made for a woman. City Hall is made for a woman. Not one black woman senator was able to cast a vote yesterday. And I believe with every fiber of my being that in this next election cycle, we got to elect some sisters to be senators because it's made for a woman. Maybe it's just me and Bishop Jackson. The next governor of Georgia is made for a woman. The bishopric is made for a woman. Being a CEO is made for a woman. Being a hedge fund manager is made for a woman. Flipping real estate property is made for a woman. Being an entrepreneur is made for a woman. Being a multi-level marketer is made for a woman. Therefore, the secret is out. Hymn 247 in the Red Book. It is no secret what God can do. What he's done for others, he'll do for you with arms wide open. He cares for you. It is no secret what God can do. I got to take it back to the nativity season. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, not just that Jesus was born, but he was born to a black woman that had dreads. Thank you so much.
Check it out, New Birth. Here are today's video announcements.
Get ready. Our Good Friday service, April 15th at 7:30 p.m. will be in our sanctuary. Guest speaker, the prolific Bishop T.D. Jakes, along with the legendary John P. King. But that's not all, saints, because then on Resurrection Sunday, the sanctuary comes alive. Our very own Dr. Jamal Bryant brings a powerful word with special guest LaShawn Mitchell. Nobody greater. Nobody greater. It's time to come back to church. Hey family, visit wearenewbirth.org for volunteer opportunities. We need full ministry support to welcome our family back.
Our transportation department will resume shuttle service from the Indian Creek MARTA station beginning on Good Friday. For Good Friday service on April 15th at 7:30 p.m., pickup will be at 6:30 p.m. For Resurrection Sunday, April 17th at 9:30 a.m., pickup will be at 8:30 a.m. and buses leave 15 minutes after service. This is our last week for our Resurrection Challenge. Please visit wearenewbirth.org for full details. Also, join us on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. for our prayer conference call. Tuesdays will be streamed online on Facebook. Also, text NB-RAISE to 71441 to complete our Resurrection Challenge commitment card. We are expecting 100 partners to sow a $1,000 offering or 1,000 partners to sow a $100 offering. After completing your commitment card, please go to our giving platforms and select the Resurrection Seed Fund to complete your donation. Please visit calltoconquer.com to pick up April's Book of the Month, What Happened to You by Bruce Perry and Oprah Winfrey. This fascinating reading explores conversations on trauma, resilience, and healing, and ties directly into our scripture of the month, Lamentations 5:21. Turn us back to you, O Lord, and we will be restored. Our focus for April is unusual recovery. We will be restored and recover all according to God's word. As we focus on unusual recovery this month, we are blessed to feature Road to Resilience, founded by Farron Brinkley as our business of the month. This restorative business provides substance abuse, behavioral, and re-entry programs, as well as tools for adolescents and young adults. Please visit r2resilience.org for more information. If God has blessed you with an entrepreneurial spirit and you are a business owner, we want to support you and help take your business to the next level. Each month, we are selecting a business of the month. Simply text BOTM 2022 to 71441 or email BOTM2022@newbirth.org for more information on how your business can be New Birth's Business of the Month. This month, we honor our biblical counseling ministry as our Ministry of the Month. Emerging Generations is hiring a full-time EG director. The deadline to apply is April 30th. We are looking for an energetic, experienced candidate to lead our youth and young adults department. Please text NBEG director to 71441 to receive the application. Be prepared to submit your resume, cover letter, and a 2-minute video telling us why you are the right choice. Ladies, our first in-person Circle with the Sisters of the Year has been rescheduled for May. Please join us for another impactful and empowering virtual session on Monday, April 11th at 7:30 p.m. Please visit wearenewbirth.org/events to register as soon as possible to reserve your seat via Zoom. Tell all the ladies in your circle not to miss this important meeting. We are excited about the unusual move of God in the lives of the women of New Birth. On Tuesday, April 12th, faith groups, elected leaders, and voting advocacy organizations throughout the state of Georgia will stand together at the King's Center to launch a massive voter planning and education drive for the upcoming 2022 election. The event will begin at the King's Center at 11 a.m. with a rally and testimonials, followed by a march down Auburn Avenue and prayer at the John Lewis mural. The event was organized by a coalition of Georgia faith leaders, including Dr. Jamal Bryant, Reverend Cynthia Hale, Pastor Lee May, and others. Please visit wearenewbirth.org for full details. Our counseling ministry will host an informational meeting to discuss upcoming personal development and emotional wellness classes on Thursday, April 28th at 7:30 p.m. The meeting will include a discussion with a licensed professional to share information about available community resources. Please contact the Marriage Matters Ministry at 770-696-5097 or visit wearenewbirth.org. Save the date for our upcoming virtual career and resource fair presented by our employment network on May the 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Please visit wearenewbirth.org for more information. It's time for spring cleaning. Let's clean out our closets and get rid of the clothes that we no longer wear. Our outreach ministry is hosting a Goodwill clothing drive on Saturday, April 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on our lower football field. We are accepting new and very gently worn clothing.
We are looking for energetic, articulate personalities of all ages for our live and on-camera experiences. If you are comfortable in front of a camera, we want to see you shine. Give us a 60-second video clip of you giving an exhortation, prayer, scripture reading, or simply sharing a little bit about yourself. Please provide your video as a YouTube URL. Also, upload a professional high-resolution photo of yourself. You must be a resident of Metro Atlanta. You do not have to be a member of New Birth. Please visit wearenewbirth.org/events for a submission link.
New Birth, it's time to travel. Are you ready for a trip of a lifetime? We invite you to come experience the ancient and historical Holy Land with Dr. Jamal Bryant and your New Birth family. This trip is filled with many opportunities to see and visit places you could only imagine. This 10-day Christmas journey to the Holy Land should be on everyone's bucket list. It's an all-inclusive trip and covers transportation, airfare, hotel, meals, and entrance fees. You still have time to register. It will be an educational, fun, and life-changing experience for the entire family. Please visit wearenewbirth.org. And that's it for today's video announcements.